And based on the front four we see, it seems like to me that Vega wanted to try to run this lineup that could chip at towers, that could do slow damage, force Na'Vi to commit to you, and then punish them with a Darkseer. Maybe gets in a Blink Dagger, the combo potential out of the Disruptor and the Darkseer. But now, Na'Vi just says, we can just dig our heels in, man. We're just going to walk up. We have enough ways to engage into you. We have Shallow Grave even to keep these fights drawn out, drawn out. Let the Tombstone continue to do work. Let the Nether Ward continue to do work. So like you said, very aggressive, very fight-oriented drafts on both sides. It should be an action-packed game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be action-packed. Darkseer, the main hero that wants a little more time before it comes online, but every other hero in this game wants to fight pretty early. The one thing I'm worried about for Vega is Drow. Na'Vi have 3 ranged heroes already. They have extremely strong lanes. I mean, I would say their quote-unquote weakest laner is Puck, and Puck is still a good laner.
Oh, yeah.
Pugna, Dazzle, Undying. This could be an aggressive tri-lane. They could run dual lanes. Pugna +1, potentially Undying, Dazzle +1. The only issue with the Drow is I'm not sure how they would fit it into the lanes, but they could run an Undying and Dazzle support. So maybe we see Pugna Undying, then Dazzle Drow. And I don't see how Vega can even touch the lanes at that point. Dazzle Drow can zone out a Darkseer. Puck with a Drow aura is going to be Dragon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Or break even if Chen gets involved, but then the Chen is slowed down. And the off lane, Undying +1 is Undying Pugna is going to be very scary at that point. So I'm a little surprised that they don't ban the Drow. And I mean, if I'm Na'Vi, that's the carry that I want.
Well, waiting to see. Vegas still waiting to round out with their 5th here. Drow Ranger, like you said, was not banned. Phantom Lancer, the last ban out from Na'Vi, and I feel like that's a very, very solid ban because you look at this, you go, okay, PL even without a lot of farm can contribute to a push, but he would have been a really nice 2-dimensional safety build for them, saying, okay, we can go late with this. If things don't go exactly as planned, we can fall back farm, just try to have a random progression. They're going to go with an Ember Spirit. So Ember, I don't mind it, but it feels. With the Ember pickup, this lineup feels like it's very, very dependent on an excellent start. Not just a good one, because everybody wants a good start. You don't want to come out slow out of the gates. But if Ember is shut down at all, and the push fails and they're not taking towers and really garnering map control early, I feel like Na'Vi's just going to be able to run them over, and Bloodseeker can just run them over, run them down if it's played well.
This is not the direction I expected. Now, the cool thing about Ember is he's with Darkseer, so you have the potential for Flame Guard and Iron Shell on him. And if he ever gets ahead, let's say his phase drums and like they have a kill or 2 advantage, and Na'Vi cannot force him back really quickly, he's going to just mop the floor with them. But Bloodseeker, the choice. This is a hero that we've seen, I think it's at least twice now already in Europe. I believe he lost a game for 4 Anchors, and then I think he actually won a game for, maybe it was for Na'Vi. I'm trying to remember. I think he's 1-1.
I think he's played in. I think he was played twice in C as well. Okay. I'm talking to some of the other casters. It seems like they mentioned, who was I talking to? I can't remember who it was, but they did some of the C casting. So again, I'm AC. This is LD. We're just about ready to jump into game 1 of this best of 2. It's going to be taking on Vega Squadron here at the EU Hub coverage of TI5 qualifiers. Faux show. Moving on into the game. Take a look at the early posturing anyway. We're going to have a few move out. Yeah, it's going to be 4 heading south for Na'Vi. And the top, Funk going to be making his way out with that very, if I do say, awesome Seeker set. A little bit more safe approach here from Vega.
He's got the ram horns going on. Looking pretty good.
Reminds me, this is one of those sets. There's a Dazzle set that's like this. It reminds me of Princess Mononoke. Like, just like the general art style. Like, doesn't it? Does that not?
I can see it, man.
And I'm not like an anime guy. It's one of the few I like. But anyway, ward will be dropped. So early on, based on how the lanes shape up, give me some key points here that we need to keep an eye on. What do you think is really going to win or lose these lanes?
So it looks like Na'Vi want to go aggressive tri-lane, or at the very least they want to ward off the Chen's jungle. And I think they have a pretty good lineup to contest the jungle early on. Undying's one of the best supports for these like level 1, level 2 clashes. They have fairly independent farmers, I would say. Pugna is a bit squishy, but normally does well on the laning stage. And they have a Dazzle who can help keep him alive. Dendy should have the edge on a Dragon Knight 1v1 if that is indeed the matchup, and it looks like it will be. No one is doing a bottle rush. So I think Puck already does pretty well against Dragon Knight. The big downside here I do see for Na'Vi is they don't have much early kill potential. They don't have a hero like a Spirit Breaker or, say, a Rubik Leshrac, a Shadow Demon. We saw the Kunkka earlier, who could be a great setup support for kills. So they're not likely to directly get kills just by ganking a hero, but it's more going to be like getting up in the Chen's face, constantly pressuring the lanes, and forcing him out of his comfort zone. Don't let him do like the AUI 2000 thing where you stack 2 camps, just AFK, wait for your wild kid, and get a super fast level 6 even before the 5-6 minute mark. So to me, that's the key. Na'Vi don't have to actually get kills, but they do need to keep Vega reacting and not just AFK farming, basically.
Well, looks like we are having some movement from the supports now, as Dazzle will make his way up. So it is going to be dual lanes with the Chin in the jungle, so ostensibly a 2-on-1 matchup with Art Style playing on our Undying. Should be able to hang and bang at least somewhat well.
He's got decay, man. This is not an easy fight for Magan. He is trading okay for now, but the thing is, this Undying has the double mango, so he's got some extra regen, and he's got a ton of mana. He can afford to play a lot more aggressively. That's a lot of mangoes, man. Even getting one on a... I think one on Undying is good, but seeing the double this early is rather unusual. I think it can work, though. Undying has pretty low mana pool early on, considering how...
Oh, sir, you're gone.
Oh.
Sunoco, I was watching it. I thought they would micro it away, but he was in the right place at the right time.
But he did get his bottle first on the Dragon Knights.
He did, absolutely.
So, that could have been a total disaster. Still, really nice play by Sunico. They do not have a ward up near the top side of the map. They put one off in the jungle, almost directly where the Dire ward that you mentioned earlier was placed. So because of that, didn't see it coming.
Mm-hmm. And Solo now bouncing up towards top lane. Everything else seems relatively quiet. Like you said, the fact that the courier snipe came after and not before the bottle drop off, quite a big deal. But I anticipate it's going to be relatively quiet. Like you were saying, Na'Vi is kind of lacking in that, oh, we can just go get a kill early on kind of thing, unless they just kind of walk into a misplay or dive. 2-minute rune's coming up.
In the river. He's got a haste rune.
There's the breathe fire, chasing him down. He's going to choose the Dazzle to try to get onto. Kinetic field is on point. And Soneko stomped down and slain by Solo, who draws first blood. So Vega off to a great start, and that's what they need.
That is just the value rune, 2 minutes. And if that's any other rune, I don't think they get that kill. Even a double damage, he most likely walks away, or at least it makes it a lot harder for them to kill him. Gets off, like, say, 2 heals, but man, sometimes you just get those runes and make plays with them. Vega, they needed that too after losing the bottle. So now no one, other thing is he got to refill his bottle. So he's extremely happy about that. And at this point, Puck may slightly out CS the Dragon Knight, but once Dragon Knight hits 6, it's going to be, if anything, a Dragon Knight favored lane.
Speaking of favorite lanes, hold that thought, as we're going to have a major dive. They're going to catch 2 with the chains. Fun against Sunoco. And here comes the help. There's a silence getting ready to pop. There it is from Funnick. That'll be enough to ward them off. So getting ultra aggressive with this Ember Spirit. They moved up with the Disruptor as well as Solo on the Chen, but unable to make anything work. So a little bit of wasted time there.
They did force the TP. That's the one good thing here is Mag has a little bit more freedom, and he needs it because he tried to go to the jungle earlier. They warded his camp, so he couldn't farm that camp, and he got Mud Golems over here. I'm not sure. I think he might have cleared it once, and that's the respawn, but and in any case, it's still going to be fairly slow going for him. So he needs that little bit of extra room, and they may just look to rotate another support down bottom. Indeed, we will see Dazzle heading back that way.
In the meantime, Havost happy with his farm. He leads the board 22. 18, of course, is second place. So Fun doing quite well in this, or excuse me, Dindy doing quite well in this mid matchup. Dragon Knight's not far behind, though, so the DK getting everything he needs, and of course being a part of that first kill, quite a nice boost and a boon. 4-minute rune's going to be coming up. It looks like we're going to have no one on Vega eyeing the top rune spot. So Neko, that's a DD. He'll sit on it for now. Bounty rune picked up by our Dragon Knight. So after 4 minutes in, things seem to be going pretty well for Na'Vi, despite giving up that first blood. Do you think they want to keep this status quo going, or do you think maybe they want to try to shift things up soon?
They definitely want to shift things up, and I would say like around the 10-minute mark or so. They need levels, this team. You ideally want the level 3 to 4 Tombstone. Doesn't have to be max, but I think level 3 is where it really starts to excel. Puck will ideally want to blink, at the very least level 7 to 8. And I think most importantly, the Puck just needs to farm towards the mech. So around that time where they get the max Tombstone, the mech, probably the Bloodseeker ultimate, that's where they look to get really aggressive. But here we go, top
big
lane.
Engagement, top 2 caught out. Art Style and Fun getting all the damage. Art Style's going to be dropping shortly, but they may get the Ember. If they can track him down, he's going to round the corner and make it back to home safely. There's a nice grave. Art Style doesn't have a TP, though, so it's only buying time. And down he goes as Chen brings him down. They're unable to track down the Disruptor. ends up being a 1-0 in favor of Vega. So where Vega is losing out perhaps in lane potential and just overall gold efficiency, they are at least pressuring the map and finding some kills.
Man, not often you see a team with Undying, Pugna, Dazzle not winning the laning stage. This Chen is doing work, and I gotta say that the Disruptor play has been, for the most part, on point. That glimpse, the kinetic field wasn't great there, but the glimpse back definitely saved the Ember's life. And this is the one issue for Navi, is they don't have a ton of ways to break the Flame Guard. They have the Pugna and the Puck. Those two heroes haven't really been involved in these fights. And unfortunately, Dazzle is all physical damage, so he has no way to break this Flame Guard. And he's been the primary, like, early damage dealer who's been involved in those engagements. Later on, this may change, but for now, things looking quite good for Vega. They've got the level 6 on Dragon Knight. The Chen, a little bit underleveled if compared to, like, if you're AFK jungle Chen, but at the same time, that's fine because he's created a lot of space for the team elsewhere. So I think if you're Vega right now, you're looking towards get your Darkseer level 7, work towards the mech, get the Chen level 6, and then you can start to look for some pickoffs with Ember and transition into a push.
Well, as of right now, like you said, I mean, Solo really is just helping out everywhere, and it's making the biggest difference. And DK now beginning to fall behind a little bit in CS, still more than you would have thought he would have had a chance to get. And I want to see, like you said, Pugna should have the mech up soon.
Oh, he's got the dragon form.
And let's see, is he going to be able to do much of anything except scare the hell out of him? Not really. He will go ahead and use his illusion rune, bottle that up at the 6-minute mark. And yeah, can't really do much without taking too big of a risk standing around on the high ground too much, but we'll use the illusions to spot around the jungle a little bit. We do see Mag has rotated up to top. He's almost level 6 now, has a soul ring, but other than that is really just playing catch up. He's actually less farmed than the Chen on his own side.
Oh, they want to make a go on Havok's bottom lane. Will they catch the sneaky skeleton man? Doesn't look like it. They'll start to spam the decays out a bit. You have to be careful about going on Navi. If you don't kill them, this is the type of lineup that will just wipe you. They'll spam a couple decays, the zombies start to stack up, Dazzle comes in, gets off a grave and a heal. Navi really excels in those prolonged fights, and that's where Vega, ideally, you want to quickly burst a hero down. They are looking for a move bottom lane era.
They're so aggressive. They're so far forward. Here we go. There's the net. It's going to catch Avos. There will be a glimpse, but that's just going to send Avos a little further back, trying to find a way to stay alive. In the meantime,
they can't kill him. Yeah. He's doing so much damage.
That's remarkable. Ate so much damage here. They do bring in no one. He's trying to track them down. Doesn't have Dragon Form because he did use it earlier in mid, and now there's the Rupture, and DK can do nothing but stare at his own death. Kinetic field's there. Funnick coming in to try to clean this up. This is exactly what you were talking about, LD. Maybe a little over-aggressive. And great grave. Soul Rip probably would have kept him alive, but the grave was on point. Auto attacks on the way, regardless if the Soul Rip had actually connected. So it's going to end up being 2 for 1. And unfortunately for Vega, they lost one of their more important heroes farm-wise, the Dragon Knights. Just couldn't kill Havos. He was immortal.
It looked like, what is Havos doing? Is he feeding? But he knows how their lineup works. So he gets glimpsed in. He immediately self-decrepifies and starts life-draining the Ember Spirit. Breaks his Flame Guard, which is one of their high-damage nukes. They didn't have to stun to break the life drain because he already used the chains earlier. And then it looks like he's getting low. He gets Soul Rip back up. Slaw this time, Bloodseeker slowly running in his
coil on Mag. He's going to try to TP away.
It's going to break when he goes to the well, and he dies with the snap in the well.
Well played. So once again, Vega gives up another, and all of a sudden, Navi seems to be putting together a little bit of momentum. And what Vega had going for them was the fact they were pressuring the lanes, was the fact that they were snagging some, at least somewhat valuable kills. But now they find themselves in a position where the gold efficiency of their laning phase just wasn't on par with Navi's. Navi is caught up in kills, and it's beginning to feel like they're going to be able to set the tone and the pace of the game. And that's not what you want with a lineup like this. You draft a lineup like this so you can be in that role.
Honestly, both drafts are very bad at playing from behind. But for Vega, Disruptor, he excels at picking off retreating enemy heroes, but if he's the one running for his life, the glimpse back, maybe you could prevent a teammate from dying, but you're not making positive plays for your team. You're just limiting the damage. Dragon Knight, great at pushing, not great at defending by any means. Ember, I will say it's a pretty good Ember game, but they still have Bloodseeker and they have Pugna. Puck. Two of the better heroes to either kill him or force him back to the well, and Chen in particular is extremely poor from behind. So I look at the Na'Vi draft at the same time. Undying falls off quite hard. Pugna can be very squishy. But right now it's Na'Vi leading. So given the nature of both drafts, if you're the team in the lead, you're even more in the lead than in a normal game because of the nature of how these lineups work.
Oh, Mag. He actually did make it away just by the skin of his teeth. He was ruptured at top. They're not even trying to defend the push in mid, so they'll take that tower for free. Instead, try to split push at bottom. Na'Vi does decide to
fight this.
Yep, this is going to be a very important fight for Vega. They cannot lose another fight. This is what their lineup's drafted to do. And even if all Na'Vi accomplishes is running them back to their own towers, that's going to be a win for them. They need to be getting more value out of this early draft.
Daddy's going in.
And let's see. Yep, ooh, a little doofy play there from Dindy.
There was no mana on Seniko, actually.
Yeah.
He just got the Grave mana now. And
oh, there's the chains. Following it up, there's going to be a Grave on the Seniko. And the zombie house is down as well. Na'Vi should feel comfortable continuing this fight. Artstyle eats a bit of damage, but now
they can't kill him,
Oh, he's decrept. There's going to be Chim blowing the heel and trying to keep his team alive. Funnick a little overextended. Will be caught from behind. Dragon Tail's there. Kinetic field, though. Oh, there's going to be the chains as well. But maybe...
These zombies just doing so much work. There's the rupture. No one's going to go down. Sima on the run. TP out. Close call. Almost dies as well. They were 4v5. Their puck...
Yeah.
Dendy jumps in, he gets Dragon Tailed, and he just dies. They have no coil, they don't get any of the puck's nuke damage, and Na'Vi still gets a kill back the other way. That is how ridiculously good this lineup is in those kind of skirmishes where it's back and forth, it's prolonged, and Vega just don't have that much burst. I think the big spell that could be really game-changing is Static Storm. They don't have it yet, but Sima is around level 5. Imagine a good Static Storm where they don't get off 2-3 decays, the Tombstone doesn't get dropped, maybe the Dazzle dies without Graving. Could have been a very different fight.
Well, and Vacuum all of a sudden has a much bigger role.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
Like, if as of right now, Vacuum's not accomplishing a whole lot, but all of a sudden you get that together. Not to say Na'Vi is going to just walk around the dark corner and let you set it up, but at the very least, you have the chance to completely swing the game with one engagement if 2 or 3 heroes overextend. So 12 minutes in, we're at 6 kills now. And Na'Vi is solidly in the lead, at least in terms of individual CS. 71, 63, and 55. The top 3 on the board for their Puck, their Pugna, and of course for Funnick's Bloodseeker. And it's quite a big fall off for them. I mean, we have to get the Ember and the Dragon Knight online. That's what Vega's saying. Like, they have to make sure these heroes have their item progression. This is where losing these fights is really going to begin to hurt them more so than anything else. They're just going to be so slowed down because they kind of have to come to these fights. Otherwise, they have no chance of winning at all. The pushes will just be punished.
They have the blink on Puck. Dendy with a double damage rune. It's about to wear off and is given the Bloodseeker Blood Rage here, which Puck has a lot of nuke damage. He's got 3 AoE nukes, and it's kind of risky to Blood Rage him, but at the same time, they have Grave. That's the cool thing about this draft, is they have a lot of heals, a lot of sustain. You can make a hero very squishy and still potentially dish out heavy damage and not get punished for it. So I do want to point out, Aaron, they've dropped a lane ward mid. This could really set up some kills for the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, map control in general, I mean, on both sides, with drafts like this, just being able to, both of these teams have lineups, and we've kind of beat this horse to death, but they have lineups that want to be walking and looking for fights. These are not lineups that just want to sit back and farm all game for the most part. So anything you can do that's going to allow you to pressure behind enemy lines over on the other side of the river is really going to tell a big tale in terms of how successful you can be, not at the 13-minute mark so much, but as you progress into the 20, 25, and certainly later on into the game. But Na'Vi has no problem just walking at towers, and they may continue to walk down this top lane, as Vega seems to have zero interest in trying to stall them. Disruptor did just find his level 6, though, so they will have Static Storm online for the first time.
I feel it's really the main way they can turn this game around. That and, like you mentioned, Vacuum combined with it, but the issue is only a level 1 Vacuum.
Right.
He's about to level 9, I'll have level 2 soon, and he does have the new and improved wall, which lasts 45 seconds, even at level 1. Used to be 15 in scale, but even so, the illusions of Na'Vi aren't really that great to grab. They don't have like a Luna type hero or a Drow or some illusion-based carry like a Morphling or Anti-Mage where the illusion just has massive damage output. So we'll see, but I think Na'Vi understand their position. They know they can be aggressive. They're pushing in mid. They have their mech on Pugna. There is also about to be a mech on Chen, but he's 250 gold short. Tombstone gets dropped, and here we go.
Yep. Ready to try to push it down, but again, Vega just having such a hard time. There's going to be an initiation from Dindy. Only a one-man coil. They will bring down the Disruptor, and Vega has to fall back. And that's honestly, like, we were talking about the combo potential. Without that, how do you begin to defend this? You're too far behind. You can't just go toe-to-toe, and just picking off either the Disruptor or the Darkseer at this point is going to make it feel nigh impossible for Vega to actually engage.
Oh, they let him deny it. That should have been an easy tower. Now Artstyle will get some, but Saniko's behind him. Do not want to go on the Undying here. The orb comes out from Dendi. He's going to chase forward. They don't have the tombstone for about 20 seconds, but that's just not a kill. They're never bringing him down in that situation, and looks like they will have to let him walk away. This is where Glimpse can be helpful, but it's only level 3, and he's out of range. Ward gets dropped by Pugna, and Vega get cold feet.
Understandably so. I mean, that's got to be terrifying, the idea of rushing uphill blind. Actually, no, they do have a ward, so they would have seen. But
yeah, and even if they did it, that's just a very it's pretty early to be YOLOing like that, I would say.
But at any rate, Na'Vi continue to set the pace and the tone of this game. And if you're Vega, I mean, it looks like Mag's actually prioritizing. He's already got a Hood of Defiance up, so really wants to try to get a pipe on land sometime soon. But, I mean, outside of the obvious, earn more gold and get more kills, what's going to be the key for Vega as we get closer to 20 minutes now? So this is not working. And we actually see a preemptive weave onto Na'Vi, so they're going to try to make a run at someone. Looks like it's going to be no one, and he's going to be caught going for this rune.
They have Disruptor here, but there's too many heroes to get a full glimpse back. Denny's going to coil him. Does he try for the TP out? One out, and Sima breaks the coil. He may just drop the kinetic field and run the hell away. Funnick has the Rupture.
Oh, got him! Wonderfully played as the Rupture combined with the Nether Blast, enough to get the job done.
That was also the Blood Raged Life Drain, which does insane damage. Like,
for sure.
It makes your team squishy, but if they're running from you, then who the hell cares? That is a thing of beauty, man.
And Na'Vi is in full 5-man mode, not running as any less than 4 for a few minutes now, and why do you blame them?
I think to answer your question of what should Vega be doing, they should be split pushing. They have Ember, they have Darkseer, and Dragon Knight, not the best split pusher as far as mobility goes, but he does bring towers down pretty quickly. And the thing is, they're just not going to win 5-man engagements right now. That's pretty obvious. They need big items. Ideally, you're looking at a BKB on Dragon Knight, maybe an Ember Spirit, Maelstrom, or Battle Fury. Battle Fury seems like it might be too hard to farm the way this game is going, but they excel in smaller scale engagements given the deficit, so that's where they should be headed. They're going to take a tier 1 bottom. In the meantime, Navi's working on a tier 2 top, but it is rather slow going, and I think Vega actually handled that pretty well, the aftermath of the kill there.
The damage that's done just by the ward alone, and now Artstyle way up front, kind of out in front of his team. It's just him and Havost here, so Artstyle's going to end up dead, and Havost taking a big chance to try to come out here.
He mech'd, but I'm pretty sure he was out of range, and he was hiding in the tree line. If he gets the mech off, I think it's a different fight. They are chasing no one. The zombie stack up. The tombstone was one hit from death, but they didn't finish it.
The Seeker coming in, swooping in from behind. There's going to be the coil. He's going to manage to run uphill, finish solo off, and they had already killed the Dragon Knight as well. And it's easy to forget just how unbelievably strong Thirst can be. Funnick flew across the map.
He had 710 MS.
Yep, he was getting around.
That's faster than Lycan and Shapeshift. That is just absurd.
Looked like I caught him on the minimap as we were watching the engagement, and it literally looked like Storm Spirit jumping around. That's how quickly he was moving. It was ridiculous. But anyway, Na'Vi once again take a couple of objectives, get a couple of kills, and I don't know. They're beginning to get in the steamroll mode. I don't see. I mean, the Chin, level 8, has mech arc boots. Actually just buys a Desperation Bracer. Knows he needs a little bit more HP. The Dragon Knight, not. Unless he's got something on the courier I'm not seeing. Yeah, he doesn't. Nowhere near getting a BKB done. He's already picked up his Ogre Club. And, yeah, the mech should be done for, the pipe should be done for Mag right about now, or at least in the near future. So at least that's on the way. Ember is going to go for Battle Fury, it seems. He's picked up a Claymore.
Yeah, Battle Fury, obviously one of Ember with Battle Fury, like top 3 to 5, I would say, hero item combinations to stall a push, but he's still got to complete it. And honestly, Na'Vi are going to get this Aegis, and I think you just go tier 2 bottom, and then you start pushing the base. You may want to push out the top or middle lanes first, but I don't think you're going to complete this before the push begins, unless there's something else in the well. No, there's not. He's not going to have this in time. They'll have to find a way to win a fight without it, and I think that's where maybe a Maelstrom would have been the better choice. It's not nearly as cost efficient once it's completed, and it doesn't, well, I mean, it's still pretty cost efficient. It doesn't scale as well as the Battle Fury in the late game, but we'll see. Na'Vi here. I mean, I said they'll take tier 2 bottom first, but they push in mid. They might just swing around this way. We'll find out soon
I think
enough.
like they're significantly far enough ahead that if they take a major fight here,
they're just breaking base.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. They can just slow this down as much as they want. You know, if you keep Vega pinned up as far behind as they are just in item development, you can pull back and reset all you want.
Oh, they want to kill off this Nether Ward here. Could be decrepified, and it will be. Now the Rupture coming out, and he just keeps on running.
Managed to get the weave. Dindy engages. They're going to try to go on this. There's going to be the Chen Hill trying to get everyone back up to speed. Bloodrite is there, and that's going to catch at least one. In the meantime, Na'Vi wisely, I think, choosing not to go too far uphill. They do end up losing Artstyle in the meantime. And Artstyle really committing that tombstone there is a bit of a mistake. He got way too far out front, lost the tombstone, lost his life. And now there's going to be a glimpse back. That's going to be Seneko. And that's an easy kill.
Oh, Vega just completely dismantling this push. Havost will be on the way out now, scurrying backwards. He still holds the Aegis here, but he doesn't have his ultimate anymore. Already dropped it in the earlier game. Havost trying to life turn his way to freedom, but he gets stunned by the Dragon Knight, focused and brought down. Chase onto solo. That's a fast Bloodseeker, though. He might clean everyone up. He's going to get Sima as well, and he's not done yet. Looking for a fourth kill. It's a triple for Funnick. Is he really diving high ground? I don't think that's the play here.
Oh, Dindy. Caught with the Dragon Tail, but Funnick's right there behind him. Gonna try to, run him away at the very least.
This 700 plus move speed Bloodseeker, man.
Kinda ridiculous, and now he's got magic immunity, so not only is he moving like a bullet, he's about as unstoppable.
I honestly, like, I keep on looking at this game and I'm like, Bloodseeker is by far the least important part of their draft right now because they're trying to break the base.
Right.
And Pugna is just going to keep on blasting the tower. You need the Tombstone to sustain in the fights and zone the enemy back. Puck's your big initiator, and Dazzle's the one that kind of holds it all together, keeps everyone alive. But when the Na'Vi overextend and then Vega chase them, that's where the Bloodseeker really comes in handy. Because as soon as you get that just little bit of extra momentum, everyone drops low, Funnick just shows up and starts slaying fools. He just saved the push.
Well, he's playing it so well, too. He's not really engaging into the fights until that point. There's going to be a rupture on the mag.
There's the setback.
Yep. He'll be just fine. Ended up wasting a TP scroll, but whatever. But yeah, like, he's actually just playing back. He's using Rupture, he's using Bloodrite, and he's only really swooping in whenever it's time to play cleanup. He's not trying to overcommit and do too much right-click while the fight is just beginning to join. And it's really paying dividends, as you said. Preemptive Weave is ready to rush uphill. Kinetic Field will come apart. Tier down. BKB is now up on the Dragon Knight at the very least. There's going to be a Bloodrite that will actually... I didn't see if I got the... But anyway, they're going to engage. The ward is down.
Just got to keep Havost alive here. That's the goal. Don't let the Tombstone die either, and well, they'll continue sieging Aaron. Blasting out, knowing the range Rex is dropping dangerously low. Dent's popped an invis, and I don't think they know it. He's waiting for the perfect quill. He sees three together. He might go any second.
And holding it. There it is. Manages to connect three, and he got a three-man silence. BKBs go off, though. Doesn't matter. The damage is just intense. Funnick this time way up in front. Artstyle once again will end up dropping. The Dragon Knight with his fresh BKB is turning out to be a problem. So Vega, with 2 buybacks expended, need to make this worthwhile. Glimpse on Funnick. He's brought back to the high ground. He will be graved. That speed, though, rushing out and keeping himself alive. Dindy's going to phase shift out. And in the meantime, Vega do manage to hold things together at least a little bit, but Na'Vi not quite done.
That's a double buyback, though. They had to commit heavily to hold this, and now Havost coming back in. There's the chains on Netty. He still holds the Aegis, mind you. He has Hex Gold as well, but they just hasn't had a chance to go to the damn shop, and they finally blast the thing down. They complete the Vanguard on the Undying. Overall, a net worth swing in Na'Vi's favor, considering the buybacks. Havost being pursued here, but there's just no way they're killing him off. He's going to life drain the Wildkin as a little retaliation. Doesn't actually get it, but he slaps it around.
And now he's got a scepter, too.
So Havost has a scepter. Dendy has a Hex. They're working on what I imagine will be a Crimson Guard for Artstyle. Great against the Chen army. So I love the way Na'Vi's itemizing. The one thing that I would like to see them get is a pipe, but I mean, I'm not sure who would build it. All these other items are equally valid for this type of strat. They'll get a Vlad's for Bloodseeker. Works with the 3 ranged heroes. That was one of the big changes in recent patches. The lifesteal portion does a little bit less, 10% instead of 15. But yeah, Na'Vi, they want to end this game by the 30-minute mark. They've got 1 lane of Rax. I think they wait for the next Roche, and then they break the base. But they may feel like they can just do it anyways. We're not going to see Dendy transition here. He doesn't go Hex. He hit the gold for it, but he's going to build into a Shiva's Guard instead, picking up a plate mail.
I actually don't mind that at all. I mean, just given how AOE-centric all of these fights are becoming, I mean, there's no one target, I guess. The Ember's just not built enough to really feel like that big of a threat, I don't think. So other than him, you know, the Dragon Knight's going to BKB as soon as the fight begins anyway, so why not just go ahead and just add a little bit more damage, add a little bit more slow to everything that they're trying to do to you.
Okay, so I was wrong. He bought the Hex and he got a plate mail. So he's just that farm. Here comes the big backstab smoke, though, Aaron. They want to initiate this fight.
Oh, they only got Denny. They're coming from the north. In the meantime, no one already down the half health. BKBs go off on both sides. Static Storm caught no one of value. And now coming back in is Mag. Mag looking for anything he can do to contribute to the fight. Artstyle wandering through. Vega do deploy.
It's a massacre. Solos on the run. They've already brought down 2. The zombies are stacking up. Funnick getting really aggressive here. They try to burn him down. They can't do it. No one will fall as well. Mag on the retreat out. And it all really started with Dendy instantly getting a Blink Silence coil out. Dragon Knight did BKB, but a lot of those other heroes just couldn't have an impact. Disruptor kind of panic dropped the Static Storm, and they just didn't get a clean initiation. They wanted what you mentioned earlier, Aaron, which was the vacuum into Kinetic Field into Static Storm, but because Dendy disrupted their initiation, they never found that opening.
There's going to be the Blood Right behind the tower, and with 3 down, don't know what they can do. They look at buyback. Yeah, buybacks aren't even available if they wanted them. Disruptor's coming back up, as is Chin right about now. They're going to have to wait another 10 seconds of the Dragon Knight, though, and that's a long 10 seconds of damage to these buildings. Hovos continuing to use the Nether Blast, and there was a Sin back. I heard it. Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
He's in trouble, trying to keep him alive. Is he going to move? Yep, he's going to be able to stay alive. In the meantime, beautiful vacuum that time, but no follow-up. Combo not on point. Huge missed opportunity, and now no one coming in. Doesn't have Dragon Form for 30 seconds, though. The zombies clawing at him, and GG, well played.
Ouch. 18-10, 27-minute GG. That was just brutal. And, you know, I really got to say, I feel like Dendy's the MVP of this game.
Yep.
All of his initiations were on point. The supports did their job. Artstyle dropped the Tombstone effectively. There was that one fight bottom where him and Saniko single-handedly kept Hovost alive. And I feel like the whole team played really well, but the game-changing fights were the ones where Dendy either messed up the enemy